It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but
It's
isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
That's correct.
By the time Sunny realized the intellectual ambush had begun, Maher was already knee-deep in surgical takedowns, dismantling her points with that signature mix of smirking sarcasm and "I've read more than you" confidence. But before she could gather her talking points or even sip her tea for dramatic effect, in swooped Maher and Kelly, a media maverick armed with facts, receipts, and that ice-cold stare that could turn a latte to slush.
They're disgusting. She's Anna Navarro in your wildest imagination. You could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate.
Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly, two people who never need an excuse to be blunt, decided they'd had enough of Sunny's self-righteous monologues. Maher's scorched earth sarcasm met Megyn's icy calm dissection, and suddenly Sunny's soapbox looked more like a wobbly IKEA stool. It felt less like a debate and more like an intellectual demolition derby, one where Sunny brought glitter glue and the others showed up with bulldozers.
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, "Oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma." First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no fucking thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid shit on a regular basis. It just happened to coincide. But
let's talk about Sunny's favorite pastime, wielding her law degree like a smug lightsaber. Her credentials, former federal prosecutor, legal expert, professional finger wagger, might as well be tattooed on her forehead. And let's be real, anytime someone starts a sentence with "as a lawyer," you know it's about to be either wildly wrong, painfully obvious, or flat out obnoxious. Sunny somehow pulls off all three at once, like a legal TED Talk minus the facts, plus the moral superiority.
That hot mess that they air in the mornings, called The View, had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections, 4 legal notes. Not to mention what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side. And then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is a pattern with them.
What's especially charming is Sunny's uncanny ability to turn literally any topic, be it weather, TikTok trends, or even the proper storage temperature for mayonnaise, into a full-blown discourse on racial injustice. She could witness a puppy rescue and somehow make it about systemic oppression. It's like watching the human embodiment of Twitter. Loud, performative, and deeply committed to misunderstanding everything on purpose. Even Whoopi, her longtime co-host, looked like she was quietly begging for the segment to end.
Any term you want. Okay. Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left? But don't tell me the left
or maybe the super far right. Well, he's talking about the left. Well, then
okay, but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sunny Hostin didn't just get challenged, she got steamrolled in what felt like a philosophical demolition derby. All she managed to hang on to was her signature frown of moral disappointment. Having strong opinions is one thing. Turning every conversation into a sermon from a top-mount condescension is another. But that's Sunny's entire brand. She's not engaging in dialogue. She's staging a courtroom drama where she's the star, the jury, and the applause sign all at once. The problem? Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly don't follow that script. They don't need applause breaks. They bring facts, wit, and sharp logic. And just like that, Sunny's TED Talk energy turns into a bad improv routine where no one's laughing. Even when backed into a corner by basic truths, she doesn't adapt. She doubles down as if volume could substitute for clarity.
And finally, new rule. Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Maher watched her worn-out routine with the detached amusement of a professor grading yet another freshman essay titled, "Why I'm Always Right." He didn't interrupt. He didn't have to. Her monologue unraveled all on its own. With each sanctimonious breath, Sunny dug herself deeper into a rhetorical hole padded with buzzwords, reheated outrage, and the unmistakable scent of self-congratulation. Then came Kelly, poised razor-sharp, almost surgical in her dismantling of the spectacle. She didn't raise her voice or lean on theatrics. Instead, she calmly peeled back the layers of Sunny's faux gravitas, revealing what was underneath, a hollow echo chamber of recycled indignation.
They had a discussion on The View about world superpowers from the sound of it. That's how they got into it. And Sunny Hostin made some comments about patriotism and America and Black America. It's all in there, Jason. I mean, it's all in there. I'm going to tee it up. It starts with Alyssa Farah, who's supposed to be the Republican commentator. And then you'll hear Sunny jump in. Listen.
If America is not the #1 global power, it's not going to be Denmark. It's going to be communist China, a country that right now the government is imprisoning Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps. It is a deeply racist government. It's a human rights violating government. It is a government that if they are the leader of the free world, we are not a free world the way that we are right now.
The notion of patriotism and the notion of America and the American flag has been co-opted by the right as if they are true patriots. But when I listen to Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, he said white supremacy is the biggest domestic threat to this country.
Sunny's entire shtick relies on one thing: never being challenged. She thrives in monologue, not dialogue, accuse, dramatize, moralize. That's the cocktail. But when someone like Kelly calmly punctures that overinflated balloon, the collapse is instant and irreversible. What followed wasn't just a slip, it was an ideological faceplant. When your persona is built on the shaky scaffolding of moral superiority, even the softest push can feel like an earthquake. And this time, that house of cards didn't just wobble, it crumbled in full cringe-inducing fashion.
Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, yay, on January 20th of this month. Not everyone's happy about it, and many people would like us to be more focused on the insurrection that he personally unleashed. If you ask them, as we discussed earlier, they think it's as bad as like the Holocaust, and you don't have to take my word for it. Here is Sunny Hostin of
January
The View
6th was an
today.
atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
Yeah, the January 6th is right up there next to the Holocaust and slavery.
Megyn Kelly, whose very name seems to set off Sunny Hostin like a fire alarm during quiet time, once again proved her knack for sparking chaos just by speaking calmly. The moment Megyn enters the conversation, Sunny's voice jumps an octave and the defensiveness kicks into overdrive. Why? Because Megyn does the one thing that seems downright subversive on The View. She uses facts and logic. While Sunny spirals into theatrical outrage, Megyn stays cool, citing sources and laying out clear arguments without ever raising her voice. It's not flashy, but it's devastatingly effective. In a room fueled by feelings, Megyn's calm delivery of inconvenient truths is treated like black magic, and Sunny just can't seem to handle the spell.
I want you to note the tone they all talk with him. I want you to look at Sunny Hostin's body language and the way they look at him and everything else. Just because he is a lefty who hasn't gone completely bananas, here they are talking about the word woke.
The term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and so
migrate.
why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice. Who's not for that? But words do migrate.
It's never a fair fight. Sunny comes to the table armed with emotional theatrics and metaphorical smoke bombs, while Maher and Kelly calmly launches facts like precision-guided missiles. The contrast is almost cinematic. Sunny flails through a performance piece about oppression, while Megyn plays a quiet game of intellectual chess and knows how every piece moves. You can practically see Sunny's mental circuits frying every time Megyn references data, logic, or historical context. With no counter but moral outrage, Sunny retreats into a familiar fortress of indignation. It's like someone insisting 2 + 2 = injustice, then getting furious when you pull out a calculator. And let's not forget Sunny's baffling war on humor, where sarcasm is an attack and satire might as well be a felony.
Whoopi Goldberg was angry when Alyssa pointed out that Trump went to the funeral of Officer Diller.
Yes.
On Long Island, and Joe Biden went to a podcast. Look at Whoopi Goldberg's reaction.
Choose what you like there, but for Republicans, it was good imagery.
Really?
One day later, yes.
And I'm asking that because I was so offended because you know who showed up.
Yeah.
And he was, whether he was asked or not. This is a man who didn't care what happened to the officers on January 6th.
She promotes Joe Biden and Kamala Harris every day on that show. Trump wasn't supportive enough of the cops who were, yes, in danger on J 6th. How does that explain their behavior on a daily basis?
It's 2025, and somehow Sunny Hostin still hasn't grasped the most basic rule of comedy. Comedians make fun of everyone. That's the whole job. Expecting Bill Maher not to roast public figures is like walking into a bakery and getting offended they sell bread. Yet every time Maher so much as breathes in her direction, Sunny reacts like someone just broadcast her middle school diary over loudspeakers, complete with angsty doodles and that one poem about justice. Her go-to response? Moral pearl clutching disguised as debate. But the true highlight was her cringe attempt to outwit both Maher and Megyn Kelly live. She launched historical references like spaghetti, random, frantic, and totally missing the wall. Tossing out legal jargon with the grace of someone skimming Wikipedia on a bathroom break, Sunny ended up looking less like a legal expert and more like a courtroom intern who mistook drama class for law school.
Last week you called white Republican women cockroaches.
Actually, I didn't. And
you said they're acting like cockroaches.
I used in a similar. Let me answer that.
Okay.
I used a metaphor.
Here's what I'm going to ask you all to do. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do.
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to ask you to tone it down a bit because I can't hear anything. No one can hear what's being
But she
said.
just said I called white women
why
roaches.
people
All right, we're going to go to break. We're going to break. Can't take it.
Bill Maher, cool as a cucumber in a cryogenic freezer, just lets Sunny Hostin's tirades bounce off him like Nerf darts on a brick wall. This wasn't his first ideological minefield. The man's been surviving culture wars since the days of dial-up. Every time Sunny tried to pin him to the cross of moral outrage, you could almost see his decades of media savvy collectively roll their eyes. She thought she was delivering a viral monologue, the kind destined for Instagram clips titled, "Woke Warrior Queen Destroys Misogyny." Meanwhile, Maher was mentally halfway through his third glass of red, probably wondering what time his flight home was.
And by the way, out there, that hat that you keep wearing, that red hat that says "Make America Great Again," that tells people that you go along with this. So you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Because we see it anyway.
I'm not going to defend Donald Trump ever, but I would never say that we should put the swastika on the cap because I think you can hate Donald Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. It's half the country. I don't want to live in that country. I don't want to live in the country where I hate half the country and I don't hate half the country.
How dare you disagree with me?
Sunny Hostin just experienced a verbal beatdown so thorough from Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly that it could qualify as an intellectual mugging. What began as another routine day on The View, Sunny confidently sipping tea, armed with cue cards and moral certainties, quickly devolved into a televised train wreck. The calm takedown she endured wasn't just a disagreement. It was a public dismantling of her rhetorical arsenal. Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly, both well-seasoned in the art of direct commentary, decided they'd had enough of Sunny's self-congratulatory soapboxing. Maher deployed his trademark dry sarcasm, while Kelly delivered clinical precision. The result? Sunny's arguments, typically unchallenged and dressed in moral superiority, collapsed like a wobbly IKEA stool under the weight of actual scrutiny. It wasn't a debate. It was an intellectual demolition derby. Sunny with glitter glue, Maher and Kelly with bulldozers. Sunny loves to flex her legal credentials like a lightsaber forged in the fires of smug. Former federal prosecutor, legal expert, professional finger wagger. Every sentence prefaced with, "as a lawyer," promises a blend of inaccuracy, obviousness, and condescension, and she rarely disappoints. It's like watching a TED Talk written by someone who skimmed a few Wikipedia entries and decided they had all the answers. Sunny brings the tone of a courtroom drama, but forgets the part where facts actually matter. And her real talent? Turning any topic, from weather reports to TikTok trends, into a discourse on racial injustice. A puppy rescue becomes systemic oppression. A mayonnaise recipe? Cultural erasure. She is a walking, talking Twitter feed. Loud, performative, and perpetually offended. Even Whoopi, known for her tolerance, looked like she was silently begging for the segment to end. This wasn't just a challenge for Sunny, it was a collapse. Her go-to technique of moral sermonizing fell flat against Maher and Kelly's logic-driven conversation. They don't demand applause, they deliver facts. Suddenly, Sunny's TED Talk energy looked like bad improv, the kind no one's laughing at. When confronted with inconvenient truths, she didn't adapt. She doubled down, raising her voice as though volume equaled insight. Maher, the picture of practiced detachment, let her tirade roll off him like Nerf darts on concrete. With the stoicism of a man who's survived decades of ideological landmines, he watched her unravel with the calm of someone mentally booking his next vacation. Megyn Kelly, meanwhile, was icy, deliberate, and merciless. Her rebuttals were like paper cuts to Sunny's overinflated balloon of self-righteousness. With every calmly delivered point, she peeled away Sunny's practiced outrage to reveal a hollow core of recycled talking points. Kelly, never raising her voice, sliced through the fog like a surgeon. Her calm dismantling of Sunny's worldview was clinical, precise, an exorcism of inflated self-importance. Sunny, meanwhile, acted like her outrage was law, and dissenters were heretics. She doesn't debate, she holds court, and we're all supposed to clap between ads for menopause supplements. In the end, her fans will call it bravery. The rest of us saw what it really was. A tantrum in heels, clinging to a shrinking platform. The ashes of her argument spell one word: overexposed.